Welcome to the Chronological Bible Journey, where we discover God's whole story one day at a time. I'm Noah, and I'm here today with Michael as we look at our readings in Daniel for today on day 250. Michael, that feels significant.
It does feel pretty significant. Well done on making it 250 days up to this point. Hey, and even if you haven't read all of the 250 days, this is still a huge accomplishment, how far we've made it.
Yep, exactly.
Now, in our reading today, there was a lot going on. We had a couple of visions, and let's be honest, both of them were a little unusual. And then an empire was overthrown by a message written by a heavenly hand on the wall. So there was a lot today, and we're not going to be able to cover it all. We're really going to look at that first vision that Daniel had today. And in that vision, there were four different beasts. And at this point in Daniel's life, he was probably in his 60s. So he's been serving for a long time.
And he's seen a lot of stuff.
He's seen a lot of probably horrible stuff that maybe the Babylonians have done. But also he's seen some incredible stuff that the Lord has done as well. And so he ends up having this vision that kind of scares him. And he sees in this vision four different beasts. And the first beast is a lion with eagle's wings that then get plucked off of him. And then the lion stands like a person and was given a human's mind. That does sound terrifying to me. Then the second beast was a bear, and it was commanded to devour many people. Then the third beast, what looked like a leopard, and had four wings and four heads. Again, we can see why Daniel was greatly disturbed by this, and he was given great authority. And then there was a fourth beast that was terrifying and stronger than all the other beasts, and it crushed its victims and even had 10 horns. But then another small horn appeared, uprooted 3 of the horns, and it had eyes like a person and a mouth that boasted arrogantly.
Yeah, I'm sure he's just waiting for this dream to end.
Yes. I'd wake up and be like, what is going on? What did I eat the night before? Right? But thankfully, this was not just a dream. This was a vision given to him by the Lord. And then he saw the Ancient One, or the Ancient of Days, who held court, and the fourth beast was killed and destroyed by fire. And then a son of man approached, and the Ancient One gave him all authority, honor, and sovereignty over all the nations of the earth forever. Now, you and I, if we, and maybe you at home, you can read through this and be like, okay, I get the general gist of what's going on, but what in the world does all of this mean? Have you ever been there? Noah, maybe think back to the first time you ever read this. And I know you've probably read this many times, but that first time you read this, it's very unusual.
Well, and especially if you are in the least bit not paying attention, or you're kind of thinking about something else as you're reading, you catch yourself and you like, wait, what's going on here? What did I just read? And this is one of those readings that you've got to be all in, and you sometimes have to consult with other people and some resources to really understand what's being said.
Yes. So obviously there's some symbolism going on here. So what does all of this mean? Well, each of these beasts represent a different world empire, and they would be world empires that ruled over the region of Israel. And the first beast was Babylon, and then the second beast was Medo-Persia, which at the very end of our reading, we see them conquer Babylon. That was at the very end of our reading today. And the 3 ribs in its mouth represent victories over 3 major empires, their enemies, Babylon, Lydia, Egypt. That's what many scholars believe. Then the third beast was Greece, and its wings kind of represent the swiftness that the Greeks conquered the civilized world under Alexander the Great, because he did much of that in 4 short years. Wow. And then the 4 heads represent the 4 divisions of the Greek Empire after he died. Then the last beast, now this one's a little bit different, from the other ones. It points to Rome, but also to the end times as well. And some scholars believe that, in the end times that quote unquote, Rome will reemerge, if you will. And those 10 horns were 10 kings, or will be 10 kings, who will rule shortly before God establishes his eternal kingdom here on earth. Now, that little horn with the eyes and an arrogant mouth, many people believe that is the antichrist. They're the antichrist. And so we see in 2 Thessalonians 2, 3 through 4, it says, "For that day will not come until there is a great rebellion against God, and the man of lawlessness," or the antichrist, "is revealed, the one who brings destruction. He will exalt himself and defy everything that people call God and every object of worship. He will even sit in the temple of God, claiming that he himself is God." We can see in the vision today, arrogantly speaking, sure. Right?
Yeah.
I would say if you're saying that, hey, I am God, that's pretty arrogant. You're reaching that top level of arrogance right there.
Yeah. Especially, this is the little horn. I mean, compared to God, the Antichrist is nothing, and he is not one that could stand up to God, but he will speak as if he can.
Yes. And we also see in Revelation 13 that there is a beast that is mentioned there, and he has all the attributes of this last beast in Daniel's vision. Because John describes him as resembling a leopard, but having feet like those of a bear and a mouth that of a lion. Yeah. So we see kind of that correlation between these different visions as well. Now, the fourth beast and that horn were allowed to rule until God, who is the ancient one, who is ruling, and he rules in his court, that their time is over. Yeah. Like you just said, the Antichrist will have a lot of power. And these beasts will have a lot of power, but they only have that because God allows it. Yeah, and when that time comes to an end, they're done.
Yeah, God has them on a leash.
That's right. And very much so, that just reminded me in that very moment of how, let's go all the way back to the very beginning of our reading when we read Job. Mm-hmm. God allowed Satan to do certain things. But Satan was only given so much leeway. Yeah. He could only do things that were within God's permissive boundaries. And so we see that again here in this vision of the future as well. So no matter how powerful the world's kingdoms seem, and all of these kingdoms that were mentioned here, they were powerful. They were great. None of them come anywhere close to achieving God's level of power and authority over the entire world. They are nothing compared to him. And no matter how difficult things get here on earth for us, we know that he is always in control. And no matter how terrifying things look, like this vision did, we can find hope and peace knowing that the Lord, at the right timing, will establish his kingdom here on earth.
And it is so encouraging that when you look at a vision like this, and Daniel was confused and kind of scared by this vision, and we look at it and we go, man, that does sound scary. God is not only not scared by this, he sees it from the beginning to the end, and he has, like you said, set the boundary line, and he is in complete control at the end of the day, and he is the one that gets to say when it's all over, and he will make things right once again.
Yeah, he's not surprised by it. He's not trying to make last-second plans to thwart this. He has already planned accordingly because he knows all things and can do all things.
Yeah, that's a great word. Thank you for helping us understand this vision and walking through that today, Michael. And we hope that this was an encouragement to you. We made it 250 days in our reading. Let's make it the next 115 as we finish up God's Word together. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow.